Hey guys, we're here today in Dragon's Dogma 2, talking about using Harpies to fly to get to hard to reach places for treasure chests, secret tokens, or travel. Dragon's Dogma 2 gives us access to quite a few traversal abilities with a few of the vocations, but unfortunately, none of their traversal abilities are good for every situation. With some persistence, the Thief can jump vertically very well with their concussive leap ability, acting as a double jump and allowing them to gain a decent amount of height. It works even better horizontally when you're trying to get from ledge to ledge, and allows you to change direction on the second jump, giving you a lot of mobility and freedom in your movement. You can't activate this ability multiple times in the air, however, so if you misjudge the distance, you can be looking at falling to your death or falling in the brine if you're jumping over water, which can make it dangerous to use in every situation. The fighter and the warrior can launch pawns, or you can have pawns launch you in the right situation, in order to cover great distances vertically. The biggest downside of these launch abilities is it's very difficult to get your fighter or warrior pawns to initiate the launch when you want, and if you play fighter or warrior and you launch a pawn up, it can be incredibly difficult or frustrating getting them to interact with the correct item each and every time. Every now and then you'll have them do exactly what you want, like get over a ledge and open a gate from the other side, but more often than not they'll land up on a ledge with multiple loot items on it and jump right back down to get next to you. The Mage's Levitate is probably the traversal ability that gives you the most freedom and allows you to control exactly where you want to go, but it is hindered by a short vertical and horizontal distance, and justly so. It allows you to move up decent sized ledges vertically and gives you that extra bit you need to catch the edge, and it can be used to get over small gaps horizontally, but it will run out over longer distances. And finally, the Mystic Spearhand has a dash ability that can cover some pretty sizable gaps horizontally, but unlike all the other abilities, can't really move vertically unless you have an enemy target above you, which is not a really likely situation when you're trying to traverse the terrain or get to a chest. When you can get some of these vocation abilities to work in the right situation, it can be incredibly helpful, and you can do some very cool things when you can get multiple of them to work together. But a lot of times it's difficult to get your pawns to do exactly what you're looking for, and that is where the Harpies come in. When you come across wild Harpies in the world, if you time out your jump and your grab at the right time, you can catch onto their talons and use them to fly. You will get a descend key that will allow you to bring them back down to the ground so you can land safely, and you will get an ascend key forcing them to fly higher. You can't ascend higher than the point that you started at, so this will not allow you to go as high as you would like vertically, and the shield launch from the fighter will still be the absolute best way to accomplish that. But right when you grab a Harpy's talons, they ascend slightly in the air, so they start from a pretty decent height right out the gate. It will drain your stamina while you fly the Harpy, but you can use consumables to regen your stamina while flying, which means if you have enough, you can fly as long as you'd like while holding on to the Harpy. You will also be able to alter the direction the Harpy is flying with your movement keys, and it can be pretty easy to control them early on. As they move farther and farther away from the point of origin, they will start fighting you to go back. You can continue to fight them with the movement keys, but you'll notice it gets very difficult to battle them, and the horizontal distance you'll be able to cover will be limited because fighting them won't be viable the whole time. The horizontal distance they can move is still more than any of the vocations can achieve, and the base height that they start their flight at is equal to or higher than what the non-shield launch abilities can get to. Now, trying to find a wild Harpy in the world that happens to be near an area you need to traverse is not exactly a likely scenario. That's why you want to keep your eye out for an item called a Harpysnare Smoke Beacon. The description of this beacon indicates it'll draw on any Harpies within range to flock near it. The beacon is very effective when you place it near any flock of Harpies, and it will draw them in, and the smoke either distracts them or intoxicates them into being more docile and not flying all erratic. This allows you to kill or grab them very easily. But the great thing about this Harpysnare Smoke Beacon is if there are no Harpies present in the area, it will summon one for you, allowing you to move to locations that are convenient for you to traverse the terrain or get to a chest, and intentionally summon a Harpy to the area. This Harpy will swoop in, and just like the others, be very docile and slower moving, allowing you to more easily time a jump and grab its talons for flight. The only real limitations that the beacon has is it will not summon a Harpy to it while inside a cave, which makes roleplay sense. But anytime you're exploring the open world, you come across a hard to reach chest and you're not playing a vocation that can easily get to it, or it's out of reach of the vocation you are playing, the Harpysnare Smoke Beacon can come in handy. It's also great for taking shortcuts and cutting across rivers so you can avoid the brine, and most importantly, if you accidentally destroyed a bridge that you need to travel on and don't feel like waiting the days for it to come back, the Harpysnare Smoke Beacon can be a lifesaver. Anytime you come across these and loot them from chests, don't squander them and use them all recklessly, but save them up for the moments that mean the most. Dragon's Dogma 2 does not take travel lightly, and limits fast travel options, and makes the terrain difficult to traverse without the right abilities, and the Harpysnare Smoke Beacon does not differ in any way. If you are hoping to go on top of a tower and use it to fly across part of the map, you'll be disappointed that this is not viable once you hit the Harpy's release range from its point of origin. But even if we cannot use Harpies to fly freely across the game, they can still be an incredibly helpful tool to traverse the terrain better than the Vocation abilities. Hopefully this video was helpful to you and gave you some creative or interesting ideas on how to use Harpies to get to some hard to reach places. And hopefully the Harpysnare Smoke Beacon can help you out if you get into a tough situation or you need to get to an area that's difficult to reach. Thanks for watching, I will see you next time.